Does your PC look lifeless and boring? Do you cry yourself to sleep every night because you're unhappy? Do you get bullied in school every day because you don't have enough RGB? Well, all that changes today because I'm going to show you how you can pimp your PC on a budget. Let's begin. If you guys want to pick up a fresh Windows 10 Pro CD key, then make sure to click the link below and visit yourcdkey.com. You guys can grab one for less than $15 using my code TS20 at checkout. So in this video, I'm going to show you guys how you can pimp your PC on a budget. We're going to show you some cool features you can add to your system, as well as improve the overall aesthetics. I was able to transform this lifeless, boring PC you would find in your grandmother's bedroom into something that looks much better. And the best part is, everything in this video costs less than 50 bucks. So in order to show off each upgrade, I built myself a gaming PC. We got the Ryzen 5 5600X in here, paired with the Zotac RTX 3070 Twin Edge graphics card. I wanted to go with a micro ATX form factor, and since Deepcool recently released their MacCube 110, I thought this would be the perfect opportunity to build in it. We got a beautiful, sleek micro ATX case with two USB 3 ports on the top and a magnetic tempered glass side panel, which is awesome. No more messing around with thumb screws to gain access to your parts. I love it. It does come with an included 120mm rear fan, but it does support big boy cooling, up to a 280mm radiator in the front and the top. Also, if you're using a thick boy long graphics card, you can use the built-in GPU stack bracket. Pretty cool feature. All right, let's start off simple and easy with the heatsink cover. Are you guys using a motherboard that doesn't have an M.2 SSD cover and you're forced to look at this ugly green or black PCB from your storage device? Well, a simple and cheap fix for this would be to buy an M.2 heatsink. This tiny aluminum heatsink not only covers the ugly PCB from your M.2 SSD, but it also helps with heat dissipation. Nothing jaw-dropping, of course, but it will knock off a few degrees during full load. You simply peel off both of the clear plastic covers from the thermal pad, place the pad on the heatsink, and firmly press it against your M.2 SSD. No extra tools necessary. The result is a much cleaner looking system. You can even take it a step further and paint your heatsink to whatever color you want so that it better matches your color scheme. When I built a Broly PC last year, I actually painted my heatsink in white to make it blend in a lot more. Next up, we have the Easy DIY RGB Memory Kit. This is a really cool way to enhance the look of your boring memory modules, especially if you're using those naked RAM sticks with the PCB showing. The installation is really simple. If you're using memory sticks with heat spreaders already installed, you would have to carefully remove them first, but please look up guides on how to remove them online before attempting to do this, as you can potentially damage your sticks. Once you have your naked RAM sticks, you are ready to install the kit. Remove the top piece of the kit using a screwdriver. There is one included, by the way, and place the thermal pads on both sides of the memory stick to help with the heat dissipation. Don't forget to peel off the plastic from both sides, and then you can go ahead and close it back up again. Each memory stick will have a 3-pin RGB cable, which you can use to daisy chain up to 4 of these memory kits. So if you're running 4 sticks, then you can just daisy chain all 4 together. But since I'm only using 2, I just connected both of them together and plugged in the other end to the 3-pin 5V RGB header on my motherboard. That way I can control the lighting using the ASRock RGB software. If you don't want to use the software, then you can just use the remote that was included to control the lighting. This is such an awesome and easy way of adding some RGB to your current memory sticks without having to upgrade them. Did you guys know that if your motherboard can't connect to Wi-Fi or Bluetooth, but it has those features built inside the board? Well, you can enable this feature by installing a Wi-Fi card. This one in particular comes with built-in antennas for both 2.4 and 5 GHz bands, and Bluetooth 5.0 support as well. The card is installed in the motherboard's M.2 key A or E slot, just like a regular M.2 SSD. It's usually labeled M.2 Wi-Fi right on the slot. I like to run the cable underneath the extended heatsink so it remains hidden. There are 2 holes in the bracket near the top where you have to run the connectors through and use the provided nuts to secure it in place. I was able to get noticeably faster speeds using the Wi-Fi card compared to the previous wireless USB stick that I was using. For only $27, I recommend this to anyone looking to not only add Bluetooth and Wi-Fi support to their PC, but also someone who wants to improve their Wi-Fi speeds. It's no secret that installing more fans in your case will help improve the overall airflow, which results in cooler temps. But what if you want to install some good-looking fans without breaking the bank? Well, I got you covered. Introducing the Up Here white RGB case fans. They come in a set of 6 good-looking 120mm fans and a controller hub which supports up to 10 fans, so you can add up to 4 more if you choose. What I like most about these fans is that they don't take up any fan or RGB headers from your motherboard. Everything is plugged directly into the controller hub, and you just need to provide power to it using a SATA power cable from your power supply. You can then use a remote to change the colors on all the fans at the same time. You can also adjust the speed of the effects and the brightness as well. Considering a lot of white RGB fans cost about $10 per fan on average, this set is actually a steal, coming in at just $37. I wouldn't be surprised if it's already sold out within an hour of launching this video. Speaking of cooling, upgrading your CPU cooler will also improve temps, and in most cases, increase the overclocking headroom of your processor. But why not go with something nice like the Vetru V5? It's a good-looking white CPU cooler that matches the theme of the PC, but they do offer a black one as well. The CPU cooler does support all mainstream socket types from Intel to AMD, and it comes with a pretty beefy heatsink with 5 copper heat pipes to help with the heat transfer. After installing all 6 fans and the CPU cooler, I've noticed a huge difference in temps in my system. The CPU cooler knocked down the temps from the 5600X all the way down to 69 degrees Celsius at peak during full load, while the GPU was able to get more cool fresh air from the 3 intake fans, bringing its max temp down to 71 degrees Celsius. The cooler does come with a single white RGB fan which needs to be plugged into the CPU fan header from your motherboard, while the other cable needs to plug into the 5V 3-pin RGB header on your motherboard. Additionally, it can also be daisy-chained with other ARGB fans in case you decide to do a push and pull configuration on the heatsink. For only $25, this is a really great deal on a great looking and performing CPU cooler. Just make sure to click on the $10 off coupon from the Amazon page. This next item is actually my favorite from today's video. It is a wireless remote start and reset switch for your PC. This is definitely more of a want than a need, but this could be very useful for those who have their PC mounted on the wall or away from their setup. I've even seen some people put their PC on the other side of the wall in a different room. It could be very useful in those instances, but if you just want to flex on your friends, or if you're really lazy and you want to turn the PC on from anywhere inside the room, then this could be a pretty cool item to have. Installation is really simple. It comes with a PCI card, a remote, and a screwdriver to install the included battery. So the PCI card gets installed in any of your available x4 PCI slots on your motherboard. However, if you don't have any, you can install it in any x16 slot instead. After that, you just have to plug in the cables to your JFP1 header on your motherboard. The power switch cable plugs into pins number 3 and 4 from the top row, and the reset switch plugs directly underneath that. The remote lets you power on and off your PC as well as reset it. But you can also have the remote put the PC to sleep instead of turning it off. You just have to hit the Windows button and search for Power Plan. Then click on the Choose What the Power buttons do and set it to whatever you want. You can have the PC go to sleep, hibernate, or even turn off the display if you want. I'm sure you don't need me to tell you this unless you are just joining the PC master race, but power supply cable extensions are also a really great way to add a bit of customization to your PC while also improving the overall aesthetic. We all know that stock PSU cables are atrocious. You are left with this monstrosity for the PCI connectors of your graphics card. Like, what is even this?
What the hell is even that?
You insert these extensions to your existing power supply cables and boom shakalaka, you now have a better looking PC. Also, I'm officially never using that phrase ever again. If you are buying cable extensions out there, just make sure to buy extra cable combs as well, because most of these cables only come with 2 combs, which isn't enough in my opinion. You would need at least 4 or 5 per cable to really get those clean runs. I'll drop a link to some of these down below as well. Here's a pretty cool mod that you probably haven't seen yet for a PC. I mean, we've all heard about Gobi strips at this point, but have you ever seen someone install strips underneath the PC? No? Well, let me show you how it's done properly. If your case has the extra space for it, adding some LED lights underneath it will add this pretty cool underglow effect, which you can control with your smartphone. But there is a correct way of doing this. If you just try and stick on a regular RGB strip, then you're forced to bend the corners, which doesn't look the cleanest, not to mention they do stick out a bit more from the bottom. I'm going to show you guys how to properly modify the RGB strips using these corner adapters, and this is also something really cool to learn for future projects. So there are a lot of different types of LED strips out there, but the most common and popular strips are the SMD 5050 LEDs. I'm not gonna confuse the poop out of you by going through all the different strips out there, but just know that all Govee RGB strips and most of the cheap budget RGB strips you find on Amazon are all SMD 5050. Anyways, these LED connectors come in two different versions, the 3-pin and the 4-pin. To find out how many pins your RGB strip has, you just have to look at it. As you can see, the Govee strip I'm using has 3 pins, but your RGB strip might vary. So once you figure out which LED connector you need to use, go ahead and insert the PCB underneath the pins. You gotta make sure the plus sign on the PCB is aligned with the plus sign on the actual connector, otherwise it won't work. Do the exact same thing for the other side. Next, we're gonna cut the RGB strip directly in the center of the indicated area using scissors. If your RGB strip has a silicone cover like mine, then we have to peel that back to reveal the PCB underneath. Otherwise, it's not gonna fit underneath the pins. Grab the strip by the sides and carefully slide it underneath the pins while making sure the plus sign from the connector matches the plus 5-volt sign on the strip. Afterwards, you can cut off any excess silicone that is left. Do the same thing for the other side and repeat the steps for every corner that you are connecting. As you can see, when I turn the strips on, the entire strip lights up. This might seem very intimidating at first, but trust me guys, it is the easiest thing you can do. Once you're happy with the installation, just go ahead and cut off the last piece at the indicated area. Using what we just learned, you can be in complete control of how you want to route your RGB strips without worrying about bending the corners. These strips are USB powered, which is the only reason why I was able to make it work with this PC. All I had to do was plug it in the back of the motherboard. Once you connect the strips to the Govee app on your phone, you are able to control the lights however you like. Also, fun fact, even if you turn the PC off, the lights stay on, but of course you have the option of turning it off using the app. A custom GPU backplate is another way of adding a bit of customization to your PC. I'm sure you guys have heard of V1 Tech at this point, but for those who haven't, they are the best in providing custom backplates for all of your components, from GPUs to storage devices, and they even make fan grills for your fans. One of the biggest concerns from these backplates was that it blocked off the airflow from the graphics card, so it didn't let the air escape from the top, which did affect temperatures. But luckily, V1 Tech does have a solution for this, as they are now doing cutouts in the backplate to align it with the vent pass-through from the graphics card. They are doing this for all of the new NVIDIA 30 series cards and AMD's 6000 series cards. The non-RGB backplates are just under $50, but if you want to go with the RGB route, you will be paying a pretty penny. But the cool thing here is that you can customize the backplate to anything you want by uploading your own image or design. Every RGB cable comes with a 20-inch, 5-volt, 3-pin addressable header cable that plugs into your motherboard, but they do have the option of including a cable that's compatible with either Corsair iQ, Gigabyte Fusion, or a remote so you can control the lights remotely. So let's say we're building a PC and we run out of RGB headers on the motherboard. I'm sure that's happened to a handful of you guys watching this video. We have so many juicy RGB products, but our motherboard only has 1 or 2 3-pin RGB headers. Well, with this RGB fan hub, you don't have to worry about that. So this is the XSPC 8-way 5-volt 3-pin splitter. You can hook up to 8 RGB products on this compact device. With this RGB fan splitter, you no longer have to worry about running out of RGB headers on your motherboard. You just need to connect the cable to an existing 3-pin RGB header on your motherboard and provide power to it using a single SATA power cable from your power supply. This thing has come to the rescue so many times in previous builds. In fact, I'm holding the one that was used inside of Big Red version 3. The only caveat to this is that whatever you're plugging in here gets synced together. So unfortunately, you won't be able to individually customize the lighting of each component. So keep that in mind. Last but not least, let's talk about these dope neon RGB strips from Fantech. These are hands down the coolest RGB strips for PCs because not only are they perfectly diffused with no visible hotspots, but they are also flexible. You can use these provided mounting clips to hook these strips up any way or shape you want. However, be warned that the mounting tape that these come with are complete garbage and they don't stick that well. If you have issues mounting these in your case, go with this double-sided 3M adhesive instead. I'll leave a link to it below. You can daisy chain up to 6 RGB strips, and you can either hook these up directly into your motherboard's 3-pin RGB header, or buy the Fantech's digital controller hub separately if you want to control the lights via remote. And that wraps up the video. If you guys enjoyed it or thought it was helpful, consider backhanding that like button And if you're picking something up from the video, let me know in the comment section down below. As always, I'll drop a link to everything I used in this PC down below if you guys want to check it out. Thank you so much for watching as always, and I'll see you very soon in the next one.